If you're a runner, you probably spend plenty of time thinking about your knees, your hips, your calves, and maybe even your hamstrings. But sometimes the part taking the biggest beating is right underneath us, our feet. Hi, I'm Ralph, and welcome to Ageless Runner. I've dealt with plantar fasciitis off and on, so I'm always interested in tools that can help manage my foot tightness and discomfort. And recently, I've been using the Chirp Sole Vibe. This is a 3-in-1 foot recovery tool that combines massage, vibration, and heat. And there's one feature in particular that I didn't expect to care much about at first, but after using it, it's become one of my favorite ways to use the Sole Vibe, and I'll show you that in just a few minutes. Now, if you're not familiar with Chirp, the company was founded in 2015 by Tate and Hannah Stock with the idea of creating simple, professional-grade products for pain relief and recovery that people would actually use regularly. Their basic philosophy is pretty straightforward. Feel good so you can do more. I've used quite a few Chirp products, and one thing I've consistently found is that their products tend to be very well engineered and well built. So I was interested to see what they would do with a product specifically designed for the feet. And by the way, if at any time you're interested in purchasing the Sole Vibe, there will be a link down in the description. So first, what exactly is this thing? Unlike a traditional foot massager where you stick your feet inside and let the machine do everything around the foot, the Sole Vibe is more interactive. You put your foot on top of it. You control where you apply the pressure and how much pressure you use. It has vibration, heat, and 3 preset recovery programs. Chirp calls them refresh, circulation, and deep release. Each one combines different vibration and heat levels depending on the kind of experience you want. You can use the Sole Vibe sitting down, which is how I normally use it, but it can also be used standing if you want to put more body weight into the massage. Now, one of the things that makes the Sole Vibe interesting is that there are really 2 massage surfaces. On one side, you have this larger textured acupressure surface. This gives you a broader massage across the bottom of the foot. I can move my foot forward and backward and work the heel, the arch, and the forefoot. And because I control the pressure, I can keep things fairly gentle or press down harder when I want a little more intensity. Then you have this smaller, more targeted area on the other side that they call the stone. You can see it looks like a little stone. And this is where you can really focus on a specific part of the foot. And this is also the surface that has the heat. The heat is not on the textured side, the heat is on the stone side. And for me, this is especially useful around the arch. As I mentioned earlier, I fight plantar fasciitis from time to time. And anyone who's dealt with it knows that uncomfortable, tight feeling you can get around the heel and arch. Sometimes it's especially noticeable with those first few steps after you get out of bed or after you've been sitting for a while. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't consider the Sole Vibe a treatment or a cure for plantar fasciitis. But for me, using it along the bottom of my foot and through the arch does help reduce that feeling of tightness and foot discomfort. And there is research showing that plantar fascia-specific stretching can help people who have chronic plantar fasciitis. That research was not done on the Sole Vibe, but it does support the idea that directly working and stretching this area can be useful. Now let's get back to that feature I teased earlier, the heat. I thought the vibration would probably be the part I liked most, but combining that vibration with a warm surface underneath the arch gives this a completely different feel. I can slowly roll my foot across this heated area and concentrate right where I feel the tightness. For me, that becomes one of the best parts of the Sole Vibe. And this smaller surface can also be used to help stretch the forefoot and toes. But the Sole Vibe isn't just limited to the bottom of your foot. The shape of the unit and these rocker fins give you a few other ways to use it. You can use it for ankle mobility. You can use it during a calf stretch. And you can even use the edges for more targeted work along the calf or shin. For runners, I think that makes it more useful than something designed only to massage the soles of your feet, because we know the foot, ankle, and calf all work together when we run. So when would I actually use this thing? Before a run, I might use it briefly just to wake up the feet, loosen the arches, and get some movement through the ankle. I wouldn't use it as a substitute for a proper warm-up, but it can be part of getting ready. After a run is probably where I see the most value, especially after a longer run when my feet feel tired or the arches feel tight. Another advantage is that you don't necessarily have to make this a separate recovery session. I can put it underneath my desk while I'm working, or use it while I'm sitting on the couch watching television. That makes it much easier to actually use consistently. So what do I like about the Chirp Sole Vibe? I like that you get both heat and vibration. I like having a broad massage surface and a more targeted surface. And I like that I control exactly where the pressure goes. It's also useful for more than just the bottom of the foot. You can work the feet, the ankles, the calves, and even the shins. There's one thing to understand before buying something like this. This isn't a completely passive foot massager. You don't just put your feet inside it and let the machine do all the work. You move your foot around. You find the areas that need attention, and you decide how much pressure you want. Personally, I see that as an advantage, especially as a runner. So is a Chirp Sole Vibe something every runner needs? Probably not. But if your feet regularly feel tired or tight after running, or if, like me, you occasionally deal with plantar fascia discomfort, I think it's a pretty clever recovery tool. What I like most is that I'm not locked into one type of massage. I can use vibration, heat, broad pressure, or very targeted pressure. This all depends on what my feet need that day. And ultimately, that's what I want from a recovery tool. Something that's simple enough that I'll actually use it. Now, if you're interested in Chirp Sole Vibe, I do have a link down the bottom. That is an affiliate link. If you use it, I do get a very small commission to help support my channel, but that adds no additional cost to you. And if you found this review helpful, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're interested in running smarter, recovering better, and staying in the game as we get older, subscribe to Ageless Runner. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next run.